before I begin, we have a petition to remove that statue at Travis Park. Could you please sign it? And we now have 16,803 signatures. And we'll be presented at City Hall at the appropriate time, which we let me start by saying when back during the time of Martin Luther King initial marches, there were several marches that predated Reverend Callie's. Reverend Callie started marching in 1972, and then a lot of community organizations, which me and TC were part of at one point, joined in. So in 1978, the march became larger. But if we go back before that, probably the very first Martin Luther King march was done when Martin Luther King was still alive, and that was done by Reverend Claude Black when the Selma and Montgomery marches were going on. And then in 1969, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the local chapter, had a march from Pittman Sullivan Park to Second Baptist Church. So there are several marches that predate the big one that we have now. So that's kind of like the history of that. Of course, the march got bigger and bigger as time went on. And let me just tell you, from a First Amendment point of view, we faced many challenges. One was, and I have to say this, TC's son, Tommy Calvert, at one march, was the keynote speaker, and he also opposed military aircraft flying over the march because he said Martin Luther King was a man of nonviolence, and military aircraft represents violence. So he was almost arrested for that, by the way. And luckily, a couple of lawyers stepped in, African-American lawyers stepped in at the march and prevented that from actually happening. And even before that, we were marching against police brutality. We were marching in the times that Nelson Mandela was in jail, and we used bullhorns. And I never forget the police department tried to stop us from using bullhorns, and even threatening us with arrest if we used the bullhorn. But that didn't stop anything. We brought the bullhorn, we used it anyway. And so our whole thing was, well, if you want to arrest us for having bullhorns, go ahead, we're not going to stop. And sometimes in order to protect the First Amendment, you've got to challenge it, you've got to test it, and you've got to sometimes suffer the price for whatever it may be. Well, we were never arrested for the bullhorns, and to this day, we'll still use bullhorns. And most recently, the Black Lives Matter affiliate through SATX actually did a die-in at one of the last Martin Luther King marches, and that was well done. I had to intervene between the police and them, and even some of the people connected with the march, who in my opinion don't understand the First Amendment, tried to prevent the Black Lives Matter people from doing a die-in. So I got right in the middle of that and turned into a shouting match between me and the police, and then later on me and one of the people that's connected with the Martin Luther King Commission. So there's always this attempt on the part of the city and always to try and water down, diminish people's input into such an important event. There's never been any kind of rules that prevent people from bringing forth their ideas, whether it be pre-Mandela in the past, or be it protect the rights and the humanity of the LGBTQ community. So that's not going to stop in my mind, and I don't think any of the marchers should ever adhere to any kind of restriction on those things. So that's very important. Also, in this day and time, we have to be wary of a couple of things. There's always all kinds of groups that are not connected to your group or my group. And my group, by the way, is the SNCC, SNCC Legacy Project. And Jolene, we have a meeting today, and I'll bring up joining the coalition as soon as I leave here. But so there's all kinds of groups, and every group does what they think is right. And if you are in control of your group, then if it's a mass demonstration, you always can prevent people that you may not agree with showing up. But if it's something you're doing that's specific to your group, you're going to have some control over that. So you gotta keep that in mind. And let me tell you, I thought it was very interesting because the Antifa group that came to our rally, and the rally that was being held at Travis Park was called by SATX4. But it was joined by our group and a bunch of other groups. Travis Park Methodist Church was there, First Unitarian Church was there. So all these other groups joined in and weren't afraid to be associated with the Black Lives Matter group, which I thought was was very significant. But you also had the anti-fascist group show up, and it was kind of interesting how that turned out, because we never advocated going to the other side of the park, because that would just, we felt, increase the likelihood of violence. But it didn't stop them from coming over to our side of the park trying to disrupt what we were doing. Now the anti-fascist group, contrary to some of the way some of the ones act upstate, this one was pretty cool, I thought. What they would do was confront the Nazis and neo-Confederates that were coming from our side, and they confronted them so strongly that the police had to get in between the two, and the police inadvertently wound up helping us because they wound up telling the Confederates, hey, you need to go back to your side of the park. So after a time, that it turned in the other direction, because so oftentimes when you have these anti-racist demonstrations, the police often side with the racists. And so that kind of didn't happen. It almost happened on a couple of occasions. One arrest, which is a miracle, just to have one arrest considering the likelihood of that. Now I must say, from a historical point of view, that the level of the probability of violence has increased greatly since the election of Donald Trump. And because of that election, and because of Steve Bannon, and because of the ultra-right input into the presidency, then they think they have a green light to do whatever they want. So in Texas, they come open carry, they come intimidating, they stood in front of City Hall, open carry. They've been sending threatening letters and pictures of people placing bullseyes on Black Lives Matter groups, also sending people with guys with AR-15s or AK-47s, whatever they have, and posting them on people's websites. One thing that I've advocated is those photos and pictures and those names need to be turned into at least 4 different groups of people. One, turn it into the SAPD, turn it into the FBI, turn it into the Southern Poverty Law Center, which might be better than those two, and then turn it into Yes, You're a Racist website, because they publish those photos and send them out. And they've been able to get people dismissed from their jobs because no decent employer is going to want a Nazi working for them. So those are things that we can do at the local level. We also warn people to be very careful, because these people are very violent, not much different from the days when we were marching, but oftentimes when you know they're there to be violent, sometimes it's best to have a counter demonstration in a different location. So you got to use your judgment. On the other hand, you have to think that through, because on the other hand, it may be very important to confront racism head on where it exists. So that has to be thought through. Back in the time when we had the anti-Klan rally, we've never opposed the other rally that took place against the Klan. That was a face-to-face counter demonstration. We didn't oppose it. We just had one at City Hall so that people who were concerned about their life, maybe their kids or whatever, wouldn't have to be fearful that they could go to pick the demonstration you want to go to. We're not going to disparage each other, but we got to do what we got to do. They got to do what they got to do, and the vote went off pretty well without a hitch. So you got to keep in mind that you need to keep the level of disagreement with other groups down, because we do need to be unified against racism, against fascism, and against all those elements that really present a problem. And I'm going to stop.
And that took place, the anti-KKK rally took place in 1996, which is about 31 years ago. And I know there are several folks that are in this room that were part of the organizing of that. And I just wanted to acknowledge T.C. Calvert and allow you to speak